Have you got Harley Softail electrical issues? I'll tell you all about it inside. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're enjoying the channel and the series of videos. Please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments below and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. So in this video I'm talking about troubleshooting issues with your Harley Softail. I've got the Sport Glide, and whether you got any electrical issues. So you could have a whole host of electrical issues. It could be battery related, it could be bad earth, broken wires, loose connections, bad switches, it could be a whole host of issues. Or it could be some of the actual modules on board the bike as well, the ECM, the BCM, the ABS modules, so, you know, whatever it is, you could be having issues with those systems as well. So I'm just going to go through a few things here, and then we'll discuss things in general. Now, let's just say you've got an ECM problem, which is the engine control module. If you look on the engine instrument cluster, it's not the motorcycle instrument cluster, as you turn the run switch, the off switch to run, on the right hand side you'll see the amber engine light come on. That is the check engine light. That's normal for prior to engine start. When you press the starter and you fire up the engine, that light should go out and it shouldn't come back on again. If it stays on or it comes back on again, then there's a fault detected from within the ECM, the engine control module. It could be a sensor issue or all that kind of stuff. So if you check out my other video about the check engine light and the error codes, that will help you out there. But there's a whole host of error codes that can be detected by these control modules, and they can actually help to fault find, to diagnose what is a problem, if something needs to be corrected, if something needs to be changed, or something needs to be replaced as well. Components, that is. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to quickly talk about is the alternator does not charge. So it's not charging the battery. The engine, now it could be, again, it could be something very simple, or it could be something a bit more sinister. Okay, so the engine ground wire loose or damaged. Okay, so you've got an engine ground wire there. Your battery puts a positive charge through all the components on the bike, electrical components. Every electrical component or everything on the bike is ground to the frame, essentially. If it isn't ground properly, then you're not going to get a proper electrical system, and therefore your alternator isn't going to work either as well properly. Okay, so you've got a faulty voltage regulator module. Again, that's not something that you can necessarily fix yourself. You're going to have to get that checked out, or get the part and have to have it replaced. Loose damaged wires in the charging circuit. Again, a faulty stator and or the rotor within the alternator itself. Now you can check a lot of this out if you get a multimeter, and you can actually put the multimeter across the battery terminals, and then you'll see with the engine running, you'll be able to tell whether you're getting sufficient charge onto that battery from the motorcycle alternator as well. If it isn't, if it's actually undercharging, then you're going to have a problem with the alternator. It should be slightly overcharging as well. So check that out. Okay, so the alternator charge rate is below normal here. So you've basically got a weak or damaged battery. You've got loose connections, faulty voltage regulator module, faulty stator and or rotor. Cannot understate the value of the battery and how many problems the battery causes. You can try and diagnose a fault find for weeks and weeks, but if you haven't checked the battery, all the connections of that battery at the very first stage, you could have wasted a lot of time, because sometimes it's just as simple as the battery. For whatever reason, you could have had a brand new battery and it's just a duff one. You could have an aging battery that needed to be changed as well. So, you know, consider those. Now, the Harley Softail range of bikes as well. The new bikes with the M8 engine and the new chassis as well. There was some spurious information come out for the battery would take many hours to replace. It would have to take the rear wheel that would have to come out, and it might cost you about 800 or 1,000, well, dollars I suppose, but pounds, you know, as well. That's all a load of rubbish, to be honest with you. Actually, all you need to do is just take off the right side cover plate, undo a couple of bolts, and the battery slides straight out. So I don't know where that information came from. I don't know myself, but it's a half an hour job, an hour job maximum. Yeah, and this is just for you and I who are at home. We could do this job, no problem at all. So I've had a look at it itself, because I heard about this story. Well, why would you want to take all this out? That's surely a terrible design from Harley if you have to take half the bike apart just to get a battery out. I thought that can't be right. That can't be right, surely. And yeah, absolutely not. It's you just take the side cover off, undo a couple of bolts, take a couple of components out, and it slides right out. Yeah, sometimes you don't want to believe what you see or read on the internet. That's, yeah, a little thing for you. Anyway, so that's about battery charging or whatever, and the alternator. That most electrical issues stem from the battery, loose connections, or it actually comes from the modules themselves, or picking up faults within the system. Okay, so now let's say you've got a speedometer that operates erratically. Now, if you check out my other video when I talked about diagnostics, again, how to get onto the diagnostics and the error code. When you get into the diagnostics phase on the bike, you'll see that the diagnostics goes through a sweep of the speedometer needle as well. It goes through its checking phase. So the reason why it's, let's say, operating erratically, it's not working properly, because you've got a contaminated vehicle speed sensor, the VSS. So all you need to do is remove that sensor and clean off medical particles, and then it should hopefully work better. Or you've got loose connections. So that's, you know, one of the reasons. It always comes down to loose connections, dirty connections, that kind of thing. Very rarely is it a component failure just like that. There's usually something else prior to that, but they do happen. Components do fail for unexplained reasons. You know, I always say to people, a bike, a car, a truck, whatever, you know, aeroplanes, they're machines. You know, things do break, they will go wrong, they do need replacing, they do need service and maintenance, but they also need constant vigilance over as well. You need to be on top of these things and to, you know, find out what's working, what doesn't work so well. Anyway, I hope this helps for you to understand some of the issues and some of the troubleshooting for your electrical system on your bike. Say, check out my other videos as well for the error codes, the diagnostics, all that kind of thing. But just remember, most causes are by the battery and the battery connection. So if you do start having issues, just give your battery a charge first of all. Charge it up. You can get battery chargers that have a repair function as well. Try and repair the battery. Put it on a repair mode. It might take a day or two for that battery to be repaired. See if that helps. It could be that the battery is beyond repair. Change the battery. Put a new battery on. See if that helps. Then, you know, then it could be something else after that. But always check that battery and the connections first of all. Anyway, hope this helps. I hope you found that useful. Please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments below, and well, catch you on the next video whenever that is. Oh, check out the website as well, RevelatorAlf.com. Cheers now.
RevelatorAlf.